Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Yuri Tedesan and we have our 8.2 release highlights. And this is obviously not your usual release, but this is a major release. And for that reason, I'm not alone here. I'm joined by Burley Kawasaki, our new Vice President for Global Vice President for Product Marketing and Strategy. Hi, Burley. How are you?
Hi, Yuri. I'm doing great, and I'm really super excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Every major release is a big deal, obviously, and we are very proud of our team and the way they manage this release and all the exclusive capabilities it provides. What I also really enjoy is the fact that they managed to do all these things, keeping still to the company's strategy. So I will start sharing my screen in a moment. By the way, keep in mind that this is not only Tech Hour that is going to cover 8.2 release. The release is major, and we have a whole separate session dedicated exclusively to Copilot functionalities. But obviously, you simply can't talk about 8.2 and don't talk about new Creatio AI. So we will take a glimpse into that. We will look into few skills, but not all of them. And then again, make sure to join us on the next Tech Hour to ensure that you see all the beautiful skills that our team had prepared here. Burley?
Thanks,
On
Yuri.
the agenda.
So, yeah, we've got a lot to cover today, as you just heard. So I'm going to sort of dive right in. Um, and as Yuri said, every major release is a big deal, but this one is a lot bigger, I think, than most. And I'll start by putting in context, as Yuri said, of the strategy. Right? It's important to realize that we're now seeing sort of this next era of automation. Right? I think most of our customers, have moved, from the monolithic architectures, the mainframes that were very, very sort of difficult to change, to extend. They moved to the cloud, which really popularized, being able to very quickly access your software. You didn't have to worry about infrastructure. You could access on demand with cloud and with the SaaS applications. But still, the cloud and SaaS applications were requiring technical skills to modify, to extend, and that really led to this new era of no code. Right? No code, allowing the business, allowing for easier configuration, extensibility, configuration of your apps, of your business process. And now with the advent of AI being really natively part of the no-code experience, and intelligently automating so many of your tasks, it's really creating this incredible new era that we think is going to be just as impactful as the cloud was, prior to this. And so, with that in mind, let's dive in, and I just want to briefly frame energy, and then I'll hand it back over to Yuri, who of course will get you hands-on and show you some of the exciting things in the product itself. But the 8.2 release is really focused around four sort of strategic themes that we prioritize based on customer feedback, based on market feedback. And one of them, of course, had to be really innovating around AI. Right? There's so much going on. You have to really be nimble and agile in keeping up with the latest. And I'm excited. We're going to talk a lot about AI. So I'll just say that we are adopting many of sort of the latest trends, including something that you're probably hearing about a lot around agentic AI. But we're including that along with generative AI and predictive AI, and including that as part of one AI architecture. Second theme you'll see is the fact that you don't need to be a hardcore technical developer to build these new AI skills. You can use English language, you can use no code. So this builds on the innovation that we've been investing in for a while around composability, around no code tools to allow the business to be able to build these themselves. So that's sort of the second theme, and you'll see that in action today. The third one is then around, not just giving you a platform and tools, but also giving you out-of-the-box experiences. And so we're going to have a whole dedicated session where we're going to go deeper into some of this, but we'll show you a couple today just to sort of give you an example of what a pre-built modern CRM skill looks like. We'll show you a couple. This is really, I think, powerful and exciting for CRM users because they get them out of the box. They don't need to do any work to build themselves, but they're still highly customizable and extendable, so you can modify it to meet your specific needs. And then the last sort of key theme, and I'll talk about this at the very close, is how do you get started, right? I think everyone's got questions around, is adopting AI going to be expensive? How do I know what I'm using? Is there going to be a surprise bill? It's like the early days of the cloud when people weren't sure about moving, VMs to the cloud because of concerns about usage and adoption and who is controlling it. So I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But really now, I think what I want to do is hand things back over to Yuri, who's going to dive in and talk more. One final slide, though, and then I'll hand off. I talked about this notion of unified AI and the fact that we were adding all these exciting new AI capabilities to keep pace with the market, in particular around the newest form that everyone talks about is agentic, right? The ability to take actions, to trigger workflows, to make decisions. That's exciting, but it still coexists with generative AI, which is also very powerful and very important, and predictive AI. Machine learning has a very strong place. It hasn't gone away, right? The ability to do automatically training of models based on your historical data, and then to predict or to classify things based on the prior models. And so all three of these are part of the energy release, and it uses a single tool. You'll see this in action. So building them and managing them, you don't have to switch back and forth between different products or use different tool sets. We've unified them together into a single unified architecture. And then we also believe that you should be able to choose your LLM of choice. In this release, we're starting with OpenAI as the first one available day one, but you'll see then post-release us adding support for both Claude and Gemini, which are two of the most requested and common LLMs that we hear our customers ask for. And so we intend to be agnostic and really support the latest LLMs of your choice. Okay, so I think with that now, I will turn things over to you, Yuri.
Yeah, thank you, Burley. I'm actually very excited to start sharing my screen and start talking about Creatio AI. Just one thing here. Okay, so again, today we will be, this is more of an introduction to a 8.2 release, I would say, because we will be also talking not only about AI, but I will mention some other features that are released in 8.2. But again, even though we have a dedicated session for specifically for Creatio AI, we'll start with looking into some of the skills available to us. So I know for a fact that some of you already familiarized with some of the features and this new beautiful button here that calls for Creatio AI, because it was available, in fact, for some releases in demo mode, but there are a lot of changes. First things, our partners should know that what we used to call intents are now to be called AI skills, and we will be talking about that a bit later. But end user experience, I will start with something really simple. So as I click this button here, what happens is this menu pops up, and this is where I interact with Creatio AI. Now I will start with something real simple. I will ask my Copilot to find one of the accounts, and it will employ one of the skills to search for the necessary data. So there it is. Super simple. We have our XM account. Next, I will go for something a little bit more complex. I will ask for a few accounts that have opportunities, say, in progress stage.
One of the powerful things that you're seeing right now is the fact that Copilot is really acting as a intelligent assistant, right? I think it's true with most AI. I think it's really meant to act as an assistant to the human, where the human is staying in the loop. So it's not replacing the user by any means, but it's making them more productive and really helping them put more focus on the high value tasks, and then doing all of the grunt work like you see here.
Yeah, so now I have my links to opportunities. I can respecify my request to go specifically for accounts, but now I have my links. And if a certain section of Creatio has an AI skill that was dedicated for that section, I will see also a button here, which is another part of this menu, which will immediately run the preset skill for a set page. We will look into this particular skill later on, but let's first discuss how this happened, how these are processed. So with 8.2 release, what you will have at your disposal also is the AI Command Center. This is a section that will now include ML models, something that you know very well of, Copilot dashboards, I will stop there as well, and also Copilot setup. And it is here where we have already in this released almost 20 skills released in 8.2, and it is by these skills the execution happens. The skills can be different. For example, the one that we used was search data. It only acts through the prompt. So, and if you have an experiences with working with an AI, then you know how to do these. So on this page, and we will look again into it in greater detail during next tech hour, but we have our prompt, and we want to we expect certain behavior from our Creatio AI, and this is where we express it. But more importantly,
the one
I
thing
believe,
you need to maybe just call out is the prompt, of course, is natural language, so it's very easy for non-technical people to use, and it allows you not only to write queries to the AI models, but also to include data. So you can refer to data that exists inside Creatio so that it can intelligently use that data to make the response even smarter. You can also pull in data from other external systems as well. So it's really the prompt and the data combined together, which help it, do its magic.
yeah. Yeah. So to another example would be that, well, maybe a more complex skill, a skill that also calls to actions. And I will make a short pit stop here. Again, we will talk about them later. But at this point, I want to show you what an action is. So as you can see, the difference is that this prompt has what is called the action in this prompt. And what happens here is we can ask our Creatio AI to run certain actions. And this is something that you already know. So yes, this is Action Designer, but if you have experience with Creatio business processes, and you do, and I know you love them as I do, so you already know how to do that. So the truth is, in order to enable, you don't need much. If you have experience creating creating AI prompts, and you have experience with Creatio business processes, there is not much for you to learn. So what a skill is basically combination of a prompt and also the context, which is extra data. As Burley mentioned, we could also extract data from third-party applications from different sources using business process as only in this case that would be not a business process but rather an action used by your Creatio AI. And then with all that context and prompt, we can also employ this action for system to do something like create new events for you, or create new activities, new tasks, new meetings. So this is where our AI becomes, as Burley mentioned previously, also the agentic AI. And this what makes it like next gen modern CRM. So again, we will look into that in a greater detail. A short glimpse in Copilot dashboards, though. So this is something that I think Burley will finish with, but in order to get in line, so we changed approach with how we are going to charge for usage of the Copilot, and that will be based on tokens. And Burley will talk about our strategies on pricing.
Yeah, briefly though, we should probably just say, the features of using Command Center or building skills, that's all included. So any version of the platform you have, but when the skill executes, right, it does call a large language model, which, as you probably aware, all of the LMs are token based in terms of sort of the standard way that they operate. That's true for OpenAI, Anthropic, also Gemini. So we've introduced a similar token-based model. It's a consumption-based model. So if you use a little, you only use a few tokens. If you use a lot, you can scale up. And so it's a very flexible way that you can manage, how many of the tokens, and you can also allocate the tokens. Some users may be using all the time, others maybe not so much, and so you can spread tokens around as you need to. So it gives you a very sort of flexible currency for basically allocating your AI skills across your teams or organizations.
Yeah. So back to the CRM part, right? So in here I have history of my interaction with the Copilot during this section. At any point I can clear, restart the session and clear everything in it. And something that I mentioned previously, if a section, in this case I'm opening an opportunity page. So if in this case, opportunity section does have a skill that was designed specifically for it. And that skill is, for example, summarize opportunity. So we can add that as a button to the section. By the way, this button is also something new in 8.2. This is a new button design. It was designed for your Creatio AI helper, but it is available in Page Designer now, so you can use it to create new buttons. So here is our summary on the opportunity. What we have here is recent interactions. We have some opportunity details. So what happens here, part of it is done through the action. System first executes an action where it takes data, reads data from system, and you know again very well how to do that by now. Then it includes it in prompt and executes the necessary action using all that data as a context. And when that happens, the data is still secured. We will be talking about the architecture during next session, but this data doesn't go anywhere outside of the secure environment. Another example.
Actually, just one final comment before you leave the sales opportunity. The sales opportunity is actually a really good real-world example of a user journey that crosses all three of the AI styles, right? Because you could start with doing some sort of predictive lead scoring, right? And
And
that would
yeah,
use
I'm
something.
getting exactly, exactly
Yeah,
there, because this is what we want to achieve. What we are assuring is, because the way Creatio does things, because these are not acquired capabilities, but rather naturally grown from our own infrastructure, you could create logic that will apply to all. For example, if I go to the context behind this opportunity, um, most of you already know that we have scoring, and out of the box, we also have probability scoring for the lead conversion for said contact, right? So when you will be testing it in your environment, it's not there. You need to make it shown if you want to see this. This is for those just for the showcase. So I have my probability scoring, and because for this section, uh, we have a skill that goes for provide contact conversation insights. So as I run it, the skill itself will explain how different AI capability, which is predictive model, was executed. So you use one skill that will explain you the behavior and the execution of the predictive scoring. So now we have our impacts on these leads. So we have them lead creating during previous 90 days, usually having most impact. Obviously, this is demo data, so not much of it would make a lot of sense. You know that 99% probability is not a healthy behavior for predictive model. But alas, imagine a skill that would start with prediction, then result in not only in some summarization, but also in some sort of action. Like we have our 99 conversation score, then you run a business process that will run an AI skill that will work as an agent, as an assistant. This is now possible. So go downloading your trials and try to burn our servers. So
yeah,
make
it's really
sure to
cool.
test all these
Yeah,
capabilities. Okay, so now that we're done with this part, we will also take a short glimpse into other improvements, smaller, maybe comparatively smaller improvements that arrive with 8.2. Though I have to mention that there's also a great tool, and we've decided to also to include it into the next session. It does require a little bit more time. This one is more more of an introduction to 8.2, and that is Email Designer. So with Creatio 8.2, a new email designer comes, and next session we will also be looking into how you now design your emails with that new tool. This is actually a new composable app. We called it Email Marketing, and we will also investigate it. But aside from the um, email new composable app, there are some other improvements available in marketing, and that is something very useful, and that is direct integration to Google Analytics. So previously, you probably were using Matomo in order to connect your Google Analytics, have that data in here. But now that we have the possibility for direct connection, there are really a lot of new possibilities, not only in tracking, but how you engage with your audience. So first, on the connection. In order to connect your environment, you need to go to this help section. If you are with Creatio along, the logic here at this point, at least, is the same that we used to have for web forms and pages. So you need to increment a small portion of a script into the page, and that will enable the necessary communication between your environment and the pages where you want to gather. And also, in the same manner, you will be connecting it to Google Analytics. So this here is an instruction what to do. If you click on the script details, you will see some instructions that you need to use to add to the page. Also, there is a link to a Google website that will allow you to find the measurement ID, one of the necessary parameters in order for this to work. And once you follow these pretty simple instructions, you will have your connection established. Now, when that is done, what you will see here would be some metrics that allow you to track better what's going on with your environments. And also you will have insights for every connected web page, which is super useful. So as you can see, I have two lists here. One is the list of pages and the other is list of actions. And this is actually a major improvement. I'm not talking about interface right now, but the things you can do because of the actions are registered. So first, what we have here. If I have my homepage chosen, I have my actions. I can also track who configured that action. And well, you know how to use this tool. I could add more fields here. I could use related objects. And I, for example, could have also track, say, leads behind contacts that have certain actions registered in here, right? So if I choose a page, I will see all the actions in said page. Also, immediately out of the box, these actions will be available on contact page, and let's talk a little bit about the application. So I'm opening at this point one of the contacts, and on the marketing tab, I will see their web session, web actions, and now let's concentrate a bit about the actions. Now, there is an object that tracks every single action on the website. So imagine campaigns you could build tracking this data, or maybe even business processes. Sometimes maybe it's not necessarily applicable only to marketing. Say you could potentially track some actions on your own company website and create system messages that would be triggered due to changes in this object. So the very fact that we now have the ability to track them by action really enables a lot of things that you could also be doing within the system. Some smaller improvements would be on the sales page. There's just a slight update on how we display some of the data on some of the sales pages, but if you don't like them, as usually, you can always deactivate them. Previous version is also there, so just make sure you use that one. Also, one of the changes that had been made and that we had expected for quite a while is the ability to immediately call up for change log from the page. That would be a new action. So let me check. I think I have it on the contacts. This is something that you will need to add, obviously, and I will showcase this. But now with the new button action, what you can do is doing this sort of logic. I've added the change log button. This is something that people were missing since classic UI, so now it's implemented here as well. If I hit change log, well, this is something that you also know how to work with. So I will see all the, for this scenario, I only enabled login for 2 columns. So now I can see who made changes in my object, right? So this would be the list changes in list object. But then if I go deeper into the record that was changed, in this interface, I will be able to see who and what did with the tracked column. So the tracked column is type, and the new value is customer set by Yuri Todosan. To do that, in design time, you would need to add a button with the new action, and that is open change log. Now, you have two options here. You could either open the log for selected record, like my change in the exact column of Bruce's record, or you can track the log for the object. So this is another great feature that comes out with the Creatio 8.2. Make sure to test it. I know that for some time people were hoping to obtain that. Another important improvement would be that in my under user profile settings, there is a new property, and that is first day of the week. So for me, it is set to Monday. At this point, I can choose between Monday and Sunday to be set as my first day of the week. So the things that are affected by these properties would be, for example, in calendar, you will see that indeed my week starts on Monday, finishes on Friday, and should I choose to show my weekends, then Saturday and Sunday will appear. So this is also something that was expected for a while, because we do have companies that combine different schedules that are not only multinational but global, and thus they have different schedules, and so you can maintain that in there. Another thing that is also affected by this is how your date filters operate. So as you can see, my filter now starts Monday and ends Sunday. Now, in order to change this, a user can, as I did, switch their preference. But you, as the system designer, what you can do, you can use one of the new system settings to set the default value there. So what would be the default working week for all company employees? This is the system setting, and it is set to be Monday. Also, if you want, at this point, we only have Monday and Sunday as first day of the week. If you want to extend it, that would be a new lookup called first day of the week. And in order to enable other days, you need to set inactive status into false. Now, these are not the only features that come with Creatio 8.2 release. So there are many more, obviously, and we invite you to check Creatio Academy website. Some few things that are still worth mentioning is we have some improvements on the execution logics. For example, for the lists, they are now uploaded 25% faster, and the more columns you have on the list, the greater will be the impact. So if you have some big lists, make sure to check how they operate on 8.2, and we would appreciate the feedback. Also, the loader for application server, the loader logic behind it changed a bit. We now have two types of users, and one is, we call it system designer, meaning you, developer, system administrator, and all other users. So what it allows us to do is to manage the workload on application server, where your commands will go in a different queue. Thus, it will, again, have an positive impact on performance. Another cool thing is that we now have a new technical user, which is an entity that will allow you integrations. So previously, as you know, in order to integrate something, you would either be using supervisor or create a new user, license them, which basically meant extra cost. So a technical user is a user type that you use for integrations, and obviously you don't pay for them. So this is another cool features. But again, this is not a full list. Make sure to, again, go to Creatio Academy website and see all the highlights there. There are great, many things that come with Creatio 8.2. And next time we're looking into marketing and take a really deep and serious dive into Creatio AI features, new Creatio AI features.
Wow, there's a lot in the release, Yuri.
Yeah.
I don't know how quite to summarize all of this, but I will try my best. What I will also do is, I know a lot of customers are, sometimes not always on the latest or every minor release that comes out. And so what I'm going to do is sort of look back, and I'm just going to recap really what's new since the Quantum major release, last year. So just very briefly, though, I mean, starting with the AI features and the no code enhancements, you saw the new sort of centralized command center, right? And that's obviously the big exciting new capabilities and features of this release. You saw how easy it was to monitor all of your AI skills, how to control the use of them. You saw how easy it was then to build, configure them using natural language. So that was all part of this release. And really, there's no limit. I mean, we have built a set of 20 plus, but you can build however many you want, and really make sure that they are the ones that fit your needs and your requirements, because everyone's process or everyone's ideas will be different on how they want to apply these capabilities. We also touched on how these AI skills can trigger workflows, right? And that's a really powerful capability that, as Yuri pointed out, you already know how to use. That's the sort of the best part, is you can create cutting edge agentic style patterns using the workflow engine and the design capabilities that are familiar to you, including the ability not only to automate multiple steps as part of a long-running workflow, but also to go out to external systems, right, and to pull data or to take actions with external systems as part of an agentic type pattern. So lots of really cool, very powerful things in this release when it comes to AI no code. I should also mention that there's a ton of feedback we get, and since the last major release, there was over 80 sort of new features and enhancements just to sort of no code tooling alone. So there's a lot of fine details there that you can read about in more detail. Okay, so moving on to then try to summarize sales. You saw this example. You saw an AI skill automating and supporting sort of greater sales rep productivity. We didn't really show some of the cool new capabilities and features. There's a revamped order and contract management experience that really streamlines the processing of more complex orders and proposals. Simplifies product hierarchy, simplifies cart operations, and then a bunch of new connectors in this release, integration with e-sign, advanced approval mechanisms and more. So again, we're not going to cover everything in this release, but you should know that there's a ton of things for sales automation, particularly, that's pretty exciting. Marketing. We did the sort of preview and teased you with what's coming with the email marketing app. That'll be featured in the next Tech Hour session, more detail. But you got a feel, though, for how I think AI skills can help with marketing automation. We have out of the box AI skills for things like bounce response analysis, conversion score insights, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of exciting things that are helping improve the AI experience in terms of marketing. There are a lot of core optimizations to the optimization usability. You saw some of the analytics improvements, which are super cool. And again, we don't have time to get into all the integrations, bunch of new connectors and integration in the marketplace that really help enrich and give you a complete customer view, especially when you're working with omni-channel, multi-channel communications. So go check out the release notes and find out more. Okay. When it comes to service, we showed you some of the skills. We didn't have a chance yet to show you some of the out-of-the-box AI skills, which are very powerful for automating your intelligent response for service processes, whether it be helping to resolve a case, look at analysis of your cases, create knowledge base articles. So there's a number of AI skills that are new in this release that are built on sort of the new architecture. A
Well,
lot of the
but we
other
will.
things
But we
we
will
will. We'll
just
show you that
make sure
exactly
to join us. Yes.
in the next episode. So this is a teaser to hopefully get everyone to come back and to watch us in the next episode. Some of these other features here are things we've already released, as I said, in sort of minor releases. But if you haven't checked them out, you should. There's a lot of exciting improvements to service overall that are worth checking out. Improvements to functionality, usability, performance. So about ready to sort of wrap up. I did want to sort of make sure, though, we talk about how do you get going, how do you get started, and the good news is we've really tried to make all the new capabilities of AI in energy as easy to try out as possible. And so there's no additional user licenses. You don't have to add on any products. It's all included in every base version of the platform, including trial. So you can use the features without any restrictions. And then we talked about that, your consumption of skills is based on a consumption-based model with AI tokens. We include a generous amount of tokens. You can go to the pricing page and you can see how many tokens are included, but it's a generous amount to help you try and to experiment, to get comfortable with that, so that you can learn at your own pace. And find out what are the skills or the use cases that you think are going to be important to your business. Once you're ready then to start adopting and scaling, then the command center gives you full analytics, full control. You can see exactly how much of each skill are being used, which users are using them. You can control a lot of the access rights and management. And this will help you be confident about the costs and the security as you scale and use AI over time. So a ton of information again to point you at in both the documentation and forthcoming in Academy. So that's the release, Yuri. I'm very excited about this. I think it's got a really a tremendous opportunity to be a game changer for businesses as they seek to get on the cutting edge with AI. Maybe you're not sure how to get started or where to get started. We've made it really easy with all of the new unified architecture and continuing to build them using our no-code tools. So really that means anyone and everyone should be able to start building AI and start getting hands-on with the new release. So I'm excited to hear your feedback and to get your questions. Yuri, any final remarks?
Well, I love this release. What can I say? Absolutely, this is a great release. It's not only major milestone for Creatio, but I think this is a major milestone on how we can improve the positioning of Creatio, because we keep taking first places and we keep in exhibit that Creatio platform is really about no-code enablement, and the sort of synergy the Creatio AI provides to all and how well it just sits on top of everything that was already available in Creatio. Really, well, I love it. I love it. But again, yes, the major release next time when we meet, we will be looking into maybe all of the skills, maybe not all of the skills, but obviously into major skills and how they improve the usability of the apps that you already know very well. And this, again, contributes to the fact that we are now working with a tool that we call modern CRM. And also we will look a little bit deeper under the hood. So how do you create your prompt? What is the context? How it all sort of put together? I think that maybe that next tech hour might be even more exciting because this is where the details will lay out, but simply because there's so much information. We would want you to still download the trials, test the skills, check what's new, and make sure to join us next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.